Due to the fact that this video would have been really short, I've decided to add in an excerpt from my the first book in my dystopian Why is that moved up? My name is Dahlia, welcome to my channel. Over the last couple of weeks I've had messages from you guys asking if I was going to continue my creating a character series. I know I have been so slack doing this, but I promise you that from now on, every second week will be a part of this series, starting from today. For those of you who are unaware of what this series is, I've created a thorough 12-part system for creating your characters and getting to know them really well. A PDF and Word document version of this are up on my website under the Writing Tips tab. It is a free download, so go ahead. This week I'll be discussing relationships and sex. Your characters, that is. Due to the fact that this video would have been really short, I decided to add in an excerpt from the first book in my dystopian fantasy trilogy, so stay tuned to the end if you want to hear that. The first category on today's agenda is your character's first love. Now this isn't sex, we aren't up to that yet. This is their first emotional attachment. The questions that go along with this are who, when, and why. As an example, I would use a girl called Lucinda from my novel. So she fell in love with a girl called Selena, who she pickpocketed one afternoon. When did she fall for this girl? When she was 16. Now in my opinion, the most important question is why. So Selena was charming, she was from a higher class, and best of all, she admired Lucinda's pickpocketing ability. Anyone else would have reported Lucinda to the authorities, but she didn't. Next is their first sexual encounter. And again, I've implemented the same who, when, and why system. This refers to anything sexual. If your character received fellatio behind an apartment building downtown, throw it in, it counts. I will use my character Regina for this one. She had her first sexual encounter with the man she ended up marrying. When did this happen? When she was 20 years old. And why? Because they had been in love with each other for 2 years and he finally decided to make a move. Category number 3 is a character's sexual experience. Some questions you can include in this is what genders, how often, what does the character think of sex, their favourite position and why. I deliberately left this one open-ended because the character's sexual history plays a massive part in who they are today. And there would be way too many questions that you could ask within this category. But have fun with your imagination and see where it takes you. The last category is your character's relationship status. And just like it is on Facebook, it is quite important. If your character is single, divorced, widowed, why? What's the story? If there isn't a story, you can just leave it out. It's not that important, but it can be kind of fun to make up a backstory. Say if a character is single due to work commitments, they don't have the time to go out and look for a date. This could be just where you leave it, or you can create a story. Are they just making up that excuse because they're scared? So that is all I have for you today. Thank you to those people who messaged me and got my butt back into gear with this series. I'm so happy that people have found it to be helpful. Okay, so if you wish to hear an excerpt from my novel, please stay tuned. Keep in mind that this is only the first draft stage. I literally only wrote it the other day. But this is a portion from chapter 3 when Alia realizes what she's become. Alia is my main character and she was human, but you know, things don't always turn out the way you want. My eyes were directed towards a white sheet draped over a rectangular frame. Nurse Benedict hesitated, her hand on the fabric. This is covering a mirror, while eyes beneath may disturb you. Did I really look that bad? Was I unrecognizable? Taking away my title as future queen, or even my right, would have been fine, but my looks were something else. There was only one way to be recognizable. The only way I would get the attention I deserved. I'm going to see myself one day, you may as well unveil it. She nodded and slid the sheet off. At first I thought they were all just playing a big joke on me. The person looking back couldn't have truly been me. Everything was off. My hair was half the length and white. Above my forehead was nothing but stark whiteness. What happened to me? My skin was pale, and that didn't include the fact that my once perky and buoyant breasts were tiny and barely visible through my hospital gown. I was a shadow of my former self. My body was so thin I could see my bones through the thin cloth draped over me. As if these changes weren't bad enough, my eyes had also changed. Instead of being a dark brown, they practically shone. They were either a really pale blue or an off-white. Either way, I couldn't look at them without the hairs raising from my skin. It became obvious just what the injection had done to me and why my parents decided to quit the surgery. I wasn't ill. There weren't any complications. I was one of them. Those few grams of liquid had transformed me completely. Whatever it was, there was nothing else like it. I'm not human anymore, am I? She put the cloth back over the mirror. I wish I could tell you that this could be reversed, but I'm afraid I'd be lying. My parents stopped the surgery because of... I looked down to my hands strapped to the armrest of the wheelchair. Can you at least get these things off me? If it was up to me, I would, but we need to assess a level of risk you pose before that. She knelt down in front of me. We don't know whether you also took on a power. You may just have changed physically, and if so, you will be able to return to a semi-normal life, though you will never be queen. What do you think I'm going to do? I laughed inwardly. I can't move. She put her hand on mine. It was a kind gesture, but felt useless seeing as though I couldn't feel her touch. I felt tears well up again and turned my face away from her. I know there is nothing I can do to help Dahlia, but if you need to talk to someone, I will be here. During the days, a nurse will come in and feed you and bathe you, and... She stood and I heard the click of a switch. This is provided for your entertainment. I'm afraid I can only set it to one channel. You will get to see family and what is happening in the world through this. I glanced at the television screen. No noise? Unfortunately, no. Your mother was afraid that you might be able to use a screen as a weapon, so it had to be sealed behind hardened plastic. She held her hands together in front of herself. If you need some assistance, just ask. There are sound vents along the top of the walls for us to hear you. I've been abandoned, and this is all they could give me in return. I shook my head. I can't use my limbs. I can't do anything on my own, and yet they sit in luxury while I'm strapped to a damn chair in a white room with a box of moving pictures on my wall. I know you're upset, love. Of course you know. I can't even draw. I can't even read. What a joke. I'm the future queen. She started to correct me, but I cut her off with a wave of my hand. Don't bother. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me and being so patient with me. As always, I have some more of my writing up on my website if you wish to read it. All the relevant links will be down below in the description bar. If you like this video and you want to see more, please like, share, comment and subscribe. And please join me next Friday for another writing video. Bye!